As the Marvel Cinematic Universe grows bigger by the year, the massive, widespread stories and villains are becoming a bit harder to follow. So with all the time spent getting the big picture in place, some confusing, hilarious, or just plain awesome mistakes have managed to slip into the finished movies. We're willing to bet fans have missed plenty. So here are 10 editing mistakes Marvel movies hope you missed. Captain America: The First Avenger. He may be an American hero, but movie fans in the Bahamas were just as excited to see their own cameo in the movie, in the form of the Bahamanian flag flying between the Stars and Stripes and the Union Jack at the World Expo. There's one problem. The flag wasn't created until 1973. Someone must have noticed, since it completely disappears in the next shot. The Avengers. In Hollywood, continuity isn't taken lightly. People are specifically hired to keep sets, costumes, and props exactly where they were in previous shots. So when Cap takes a serious shot during the final fight of the Avengers, his suit is destroyed and remains battle damaged in the next scenes. But those who thought the damage added some badass cred to Cap's bright costume don't have long to enjoy it. The suit is back to normal in the final scene, when it seems like it probably should be there to show how hard the battle really was. Thor. When the God of Thunder first realizes he can no longer lift his famous hammer, he's taken into custody by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. At least, in the story he is. In the movies, the sound effects of metal handcuffs can be heard clearly. But when the camera switches to the overhead shot, not only is it just a white band on his wrists, but it's also so loose, actor Chris Hemsworth's hands almost slip out completely. Ant-Man. Scott Lang's time as a superhero is almost cut short when the movie's villain has a gun to his head, but his trusty ant saved the day, jamming the gun's hammer to keep it from firing, which would be a pretty cool moment if the entire scene leading up to it hadn't shown that they were using Glocks without external hammers. They didn't bother getting the actual gun that would make sense, so they were clearly hoping viewers weren't paying close enough attention. It isn't just CG ants who cause problems in Ant-Man, but good old-fashioned reflections too. When Scott is parked in his van at night, it's almost possible for the camera light reflected in his chrome mirror to be mistaken for a neon sign. But when the cameraman's face comes completely into view as he pushes in for a close-up, any chance at missing the mistake is out the window. Iron Man 3. No matter how incredible blockbuster air rescues or free falls might get, the actual math behind them is almost always a problem. Or in the case of Iron Man 3, complete nonsense. When Tony first sets out to rescue falling Air Force One passengers, Jarvis lets him know that they're at 18,000 feet and falling.
18,000 feet.
Just 10 seconds later, he claims they're at 10,000 feet.
10,000 feet.
And just 4 seconds after that, they fall into 6,000.
6,000 feet.
A human at terminal velocity is close to 200 feet per second, but according to Jarvis, they're falling at 4 times that, and accelerating. Best to just look and not listen during this scene. Thor: The Dark World. Some mistakes are down to human error, but others are more confusing. When Thor and Loki are making their escape from Asgard, the brave Fandral swings onto an enemy ship to get the soldiers off their back. He first comes in from the left of the screen before the shot is completely flipped. There's no explanation, meaning this is one editing decision that simply doesn't make sense. Iron Man. Problems with science are nothing new for Marvel, but if there's one thing that's nagged the movies from the very start, it's the speed of sound, like the fact that a distant explosion is always seen before it's heard, since sound travels slower than light. Those disappointed to see the Jericho missile and Iron Man detonate a split second after they heard it have hopefully gotten used to it. Thor's hammer still rattles eardrums when it launches a sonic boom, no matter how far away it really is. Somewhere at Marvel, there's a science buff tearing their hair out. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Most fans are willing to forget that it wouldn't really be possible for Arnim Zola to live on as an artificial intelligence thanks to a sea of magnetic tape, since the scene it makes possible is a pretty important one. The footage from the first Captain America that he shows to Steve and Natasha is just as much of a leap, but we have to draw the line at being able to broadcast black and white film reels and HD newspaper scans onto the green and black monochrome monitors actually found in the base. The computer monitors may annoy techies in the audience, but for those who rely on maps or GPS, the Winter Soldier is even worse. When the coordinates are shown for the satellite-launched ship in the Indian Ocean, both latitude and longitude are given in degrees north, when latitude should be given in east or west. It's a weird mistake, since the numbers actually make sense, just not in the directions. And it's made again when we see the shield triskelion, with both coordinates given in north and south. Those are just some of the editing mistakes that seem to have slipped by the great minds at Marvel Studios. Are there any we missed? What other editing mistakes have you noticed? Sound off in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great videos like this one.